Welcome back to the Staley in English show featuring Coach Kurtz. I'm your man, Coach English. I'm sitting here with Coach Staley. Coach Kurtz is out on assignment in Arizona, the road warrior that he is.
Doing big things as always.
As always. So there, Coach Staley, how's the week been treating you, brother?
Oh, man, week's been great. God is good as always. Another week of high school basketball under the belt. Got to play in the Bojangles Bash a little earlier today. One of the top high school showcases in the nation.
I would like to say I'm a little jealous of that, but
we got to get you guys invited. Unbelievable talent, unbelievable hospitality. The organization is probably on a whole nother level. It's just one of the greatest events. I've been coaching a long time. It's been, I would like to think a long time. It's one of the greatest events I've probably ever been a part of, and I appreciate Ridgeview High School, their athletic director, their coaches, doing such a great job in the hospitality. On the flip side, we played against National Powerhouse Word of God and fell a little short, but my guys fought hard. I really like what we saw, but it's been a really, really good week, man. We got Willie Taggart in at Florida State, and I am super stoked about that.
Are you excited about that?
I am so excited. We wish Jimbo Fisher the best down at Texas A&M, except when he plays Florida State. And I'm excited. I think, we lost 8 recruits in like the last couple of weeks. So
did y'all gain them back?
Nah, we not yet. One of them's already committed to Miami, so we might not get him back. We wish that kid the best, but I know for a fact I have complete confidence in Coach Taggart and his staff, the unbelievable defensive coordinator that he's bringing in. I know he's going to lock those kids in, and we'll probably finish with a top 10 class once again. But I'm really excited about that hire.
Well, shoot, I think after the season y'all had to shake it up and do something somehow. Of course, I got a college team in Syracuse. We don't really make too much noise in football, but
y'all don't make any noise. Any noise.
And professionally, I was happy to see Ben McAdoo and his hairdo exit the building. I was very ecstatic to see that happen.
He's gone?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they fired him, and our GM is gone. So it's a clean slate. They're talking about
McAdoo is gone.
Yeah, they're talking about possibly Nick Saban or, which I'm not too excited about. They're talking about
I don't see Nick Saban leaving.
Jim Harbaugh, whichever brother is at Michigan, possibly coming in. Not too sure about that. They talked about the defensive coordinator from Philadelphia, whose name is real hot right now. I think that might be an okay hire, but whoever they bring in, I was a Giants fan through Ray Handley era. So I was a Giants fan through the Ben McAdoo era. So whoever the coach is, I just hope they come in and make the right decisions. I just find it messed up that they messed up Eli's streak and then fired the guy the week after.
Why mess his streak up? Let the guy keep starting.
Just let him keep starting, and then you mess his streak up for Geno Smith, who couldn't play dead. I mean, it is what it is. But, for me, it's been a pretty good week. Last week, the week was long. We had 3 games last week. This week that just passed, I only had 1 game. We took an L on the chin, but, it was the first day my football players got back. Shouts out to Hartsville High School football team for making the state championship. Hold on. I need to give somebody props. I forget the boy's name, number 1 from South Point, the quarterback. That boy is the real deal. Oh, my God. Listen, he had a run where he ran. He must have run. They were on the 20. Mm-hmm. And he ran 60 yards.
On Hartsville's 20?
No, yeah, they were on Hartsville's 20. And he ran 60 yards. He ran to the left, all the way to the out of bounds, double back, came back, shook about 2-3 people, came back to the other side, hurdled somebody, and then laughed as he walked in the end zone.
That sounds like more than 60 yards. That's 100 yards. It's 40-40 the sideline, right?
And then threw 3 touchdowns. Like, he ran for 2, threw for 2. I mean, Hartsville was just, they were outmatched, outmanned. Coach Jeff Calabrese, shouts out to you. You did the best job you can do. But sometimes you just come across a player of that caliber, and there's literally nothing you can do. If you keep him in the pocket, he was going to kill you with the throws. If you tried to pressure him, his feet was going to kill. I mean, that kid has an amazing future. I think he's already committed to Clemson as an athlete. I swear to God, I think he might have thrown it and caught it in the same play.
Yeah,
I think he might have thrown it to himself.
Yeah, South Point is probably one of the premier programs in the country, not just the state of South Carolina. And in South Carolina, we have some really good football.
Yeah, oh yeah,
really good football.
Oh
and,
yeah.
What coach is doing out there at South Point is borderline amazing, man.
Yeah, because I was talking to oh God, what's his name? Stacey Huff. He was up in the coach's booth after he finished announcing. Shouts out to him. He's all over the place. That's my guy.
My brother Huff is the man.
He's my guy. And he said
my wife teaches his son.
he made a statement that said his statement said he said, man, coach, now he said, now Hartsville High School, it's a great high school football team. South Point, they're a good college football team. And I said, yeah, I said, you right about that, because it looked like two different, I don't know what was going on out there. But shouts out to Hartsville for making it. So I got my players back, and we were trying to get them acclimated to the rotation and get them in last week. So we took an L on the chin trying to get them put in. But shouts out to my guys for coming back. We were going over game planning for our next game. And one of the players came to the side. One of the football players came to the sideline and said, Coach, are we going to press the whole game? I said, why? He said, I'm tired. I ain't ran like this since summer. I said, well, yeah, it's time to get your basketball legs under you. But happy to have my guys back. We had full strength finally. Hoping, and looking forward to a good season of some good basketball here at Hartsville. And shouts out to you too, Josh. I've been following you on Twitter, man. The team looks amazing. Well, I can't say I'm surprised. I'm so not surprised. Any team coached by you is a formidable opponent. So, shouts out to you and the hard work that you and your staff do. That's good stuff. So what do we got? And shouts out once again. Micah's not in the building. He's not in the juke today, but I'm pretty sure he's listening. When he's not listening to the Road Tripping podcast, he's listening to us, I guess, or himself. I guess that would be. It looks kind of funny with the empty chair, but I'm pretty sure he's listening. So safe travels to our brother from another mother, and I can't wait to see what you give us on the Hump Day motivation. I'm pretty sure you'll be sending that to me shortly.
Yeah. So last week we talked about paying college athletes. We're going to kind of put a finale on that next week because there's a few more holes we want to plug up concerning that conversation, like to the one and dones and some of the other things that come with that, because it was pretty hard to get all of that in one conversation.
Yeah, in 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, that's tough.
This week is a very it's our show. It's about sports, but it's not technically about sports. But this week is a very personal week. We're going to talk about as men, and if we step on toes, we step on toes. If I step on my own toes, I live with stepping on my toes.
Yep.
But this show is strictly for the fellas, man, for the men, and we have to do a much better job of protecting our women. As you can see in the media, we're not going to talk about any individual situation going on in the media, in sports, in the business world, in the entertainment world. We're not going to talk. We're not going to name individuals. We're going to simply talk about what we can do as men, of leaders of other young men, what we can do to do a better job of protecting our women. This is strictly a man up talk. Yeah, it's 50 things you could say about what the women can do to put themselves in a better situation. We're not getting caught up into that. What we're going to focus on today is what we need to do as men to do a much better job to protect the chastity of our women.
Well, I think the first thing that I think we have to do is educate the young men that we come in contact with.
Amen.
I have 3 sons, and then I have another 30 if you count my JV varsity team, and then if you count my students, you add another 50 to that, and then AAU kids and all of that. I think the first thing we have to do is educate them on and it sounds so cliche and corny. And I know you've heard it a million times, young fellas, and I tell my young fellas this. I said I heard it as a kid. No means no. At the end of the day, anything that makes a female feel uncomfortable, don't do. It's the second the N word is formed, the no is formed on her lips, just go ahead and stop. I mean, and I think that a lot of times we don't do a good job as adults as a whole. I'm not saying myself, or I'm not saying you, Josh, or of course Micah and a lot of the men in my circle that I come in contact, my brother Dot, Malcolm, we all have daughters, so I think we kind of have a different perspective from others. But if you've been taught, or if you, especially if you come from a single mom, I think that's another aspect, because you have a different respect. So it's our job to educate them young men who don't come from those environments and backgrounds in which they value women, and the fact that you have to respect them to the highest ability. Because I mean, if you listen to the conversations that are being had in your locker rooms, in my classroom, if they got free time, the conversations that are being had about some of these young ladies, you like you said, it's not about the ladies at this moment, it's about the men. And if we're taking our time to educate them about what acceptable behavior is when you're talking about respecting a woman is, then I think that it can go a lot further. I remember hearing a long time ago as a kid, not on this subject, but just about, and I wouldn't say a kid, I probably was about 19, but just about what my impact will be as an educator, or as a coach, or as a mentor, as a positive young man, would be focus on getting the message out. And even if you touch one, that one will hit 16. And then at 16, each one of those 16 will hit 16. And hopefully we can get it to grow. And I think that when I'm putting out this message about respecting our young women and putting ourselves in a position where we're not able to be accused of anything, because a lot of it is putting yourself in the right situation, and then it's about being respectful of that woman. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when we educate the kids on how to do that, then we'll start to make progress. But but we can't be in the boat just us two, or if Michael was here, I know he'd echo the same sentiments. Just us three, or our little circle. It's got to be everybody echoing the same sentiments, because what's happened has happened. Whatever the allegations are now, like you said, ain't no need to name names. Things have happened. But what have we learned from this? Like, what do we want to tell our kids? Shoot, I'm the father of 3 girls. Like, what do I want to tell my babies about?
Right. I'm here with this. This is a one-sided show, so we're going to be very biased in attacking what we need to do to raise better men and to be better men ourselves. But here's the only thing we're going to give women on teaching the young ladies, and if you have a daughter, focus on teaching them to value themselves. Because when you value yourself, you don't allow anyone to give you the short end of the stick. Yeah. And you don't settle for the short end of the stick. Now let's fast forward right back to the fellas. You made a tremendous point. You do have daughters. But here's the mistake I think we make as men. We raise our daughters, in a sense, to stay away from the type of guy that we either used to be or have the potential to be. Okay? Mm-hmm. We raise our daughters to stay away because we want to protect them. We don't want anyone messing over our daughters. Okay, let's stop right there. If you want that same thing for your daughter, let's raise the young men to be the young man that you want your daughter to fall in love with. Yeah. To be with, to share their life with. Because we teach our young men, and it's an ego thing. And I'm stepping on my own toes. I'm stepping on toes. I don't care. Because we teach our young men to be what we are or what we potentially can be in a negative manner majority of the time. I know some people will be like, no, I don't raise my son to be like that. But the epidemic that comes forth with all of this abuse of women is coming because men raise their sons not to get hurt by being a dominant figure in the relationship. I'm not saying demasculate men. I'm not saying that. But we have to raise men to protect women, not just Sawyer raw oats and so-called learn and experience.
Yeah.
And do, because that's just the mindset of a man naturally. Mm-hmm. That's why we get the term dogs, because a dog will lay with anything.
Yeah.
We are humans. We're smart enough to know better. Our natural instinct is to go with feeling, because men, we're usually more physical than emotional. We have to do a better job of stop trying to just teach our daughters to stay away from what we don't want to be, what we could potentially be in a negative manner, and raise our young men to be what we want our daughters to date.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about myself. And as men, and naturally we tend to mature at a slower rate than women, because a lot of the things that we are based on are physicality.
Yeah.
Okay. But we need to do a better job. I was brought up in a single home, and this is not to like make women seem weak or dependent of men. I'm not saying that. I was raised by a single mom, and she's one of the strongest people I ever met. But after being married for all these years, after being a father, I've grown, and I see the importance of raising men to be better than the type of man that you are. A lot of times we are afraid to raise our sons to be a better man because we're worried about the backlash of, oh, well, hell, you weren't like that.
Yeah.
So how you going to raise him? That's okay. If you used to be on drugs or you used to be an alcoholic, I would much rather you fight through that and tell someone not to make the mistakes that you made.
Same mistakes that you made.
In the chain. And this is what we aren't doing as men. That's why we have so many things popping up on the news and so many of these young athletes getting in these situations, because as men, I'm pulling cards now. As men, we have to do a better job of not just being fathers, but also pillars in the community.
Yeah.
And affecting, like you said, Coach E, affecting the lives that don't go home with you every day. Yeah, we want to win games and we want to be successful, but I do think the true wins and losses come with the moral compass that it comes with when you are affecting other people that are following you.
Yeah, I mean, but you see, the thing there is, Josh, you asking too much out of people there. Then,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You asking too much out of them. Why am I gonna take this extra step? This job hired me to either teach kids, or they hired me to win games, not win the game of life for these kids.
Right.
Not help them win that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but for me, you see, it wasn't too many people there to say, hey man, hey Yosh man, nah, you don't need to do that. Hey Yosh man, you don't need to do that.
Right. And I fiend to have wished I've had a father figure to be like, yo, value these young ladies that you come in contact with.
Or even if and Dad, I love you. You listen to the show. I know that. Dad, but I'm about to
step on them toes.
I'm about to step on your toes right now. You know, my father was a womanizer. You know what I'm saying? I never saw him. My dad now is on his fourth marriage, and I think this one's going to stick. You know, the woman's a great woman.
Put some Gorilla Glue on it.
You know what I'm saying? I think he put some Gorilla Glue on it.
Put some Gorilla Glue on it.
You know.
Let it stick.
Daddy, please don't make me look stupid, because I think this one will work for you. But my dad was married to my mom, and my sister is by somebody else. And then he was married to somebody else, and then had a whole nother thing. I have two brothers and a sister by somebody else.
True.
While he was married to this lady.
For sure.
You know, and so all I knew coming up was, don't get your heart broke. Don't this, don't that. You know what I'm saying? Women,
it's not manly to be hurt.
Yeah, exactly. That's
right.
It's not.
Right.
It's not manly. I went to his job one time, and it must have been 4 women came up to him in different periods. I was just hanging out for the day at different points of the day, and kissed him in the mouth. I said, "Daddy, what the devil?" He said, "I love women, son."
And that's where we fall short as men. There's such a physicality. I'm a strong believer in God, and I'm not ashamed of my faith at all. But you know, God made women unbelievably beautiful.
Oh God, yes.
You know, and it's sometimes I don't even like to look at Instagram, because you go to the popular page and all you see is these beautiful women, black, white, Chinese. I don't care what they are. So that's every great man. If you look, they say every great man has a strong woman beside him.
Yeah.
Hell, every great man has that one woman that you struggle with too.
That's that weakness.
You know, that's that weakness. That's our weakness.
That's that
but
kryptonite.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the challenge to you guys. We've had the benefit of the double standard all your life as a man.
Yeah.
We've benefited from the double standard all of our life, and most people are, there is no double standard, and I call you bull crap because if I run the streets and be a dog, then one day I wake up and decide I'm gonna be a better man. Oh, that guy changed his life. He's a good man. Yeah. If a woman does the same thing, her reputation follows her for the rest of her life. So we've benefited from the double standard. Now it's time to give back from the benefits that we've had from that double standard. Yeah, you don't want your baby girls, and I do want a daughter. You know, my wife's pregnant right now. Shout out to her. Shout out to my queen.
Shouts out to
you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's gonna be the daughter. Oh, it's gonna be the daughter." But I tell folks all the time, all I make is boys. You know, but I do fiend for that daughter, and if this isn't a boy this time, I mean, if this isn't a girl this time, we might just adopt a little baby girl because I want that daughter. People, well, but the thing I'm trying to say, fellas, we've benefited from that double standard for so long. We have to do a much better job of teaching our young men to protect the women that they come in contact with. I coach young men, and we joke and we laugh all the time because I be like, man, when I was in high school, you know, I didn't take relationships serious because I was building myself. Mm-hmm. I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. So I'm like, man, I would probably get dumped every 2 weeks. I had one girlfriend for about 2 or 3 months, and she wound up talking to another dude because I was pretty crappy. I wouldn't spend time with her, but I can live with that. I said, but the reason why I can get along with majority of the women that I encountered with growing up was because I was honest. Mm-hmm. They knew exactly where I was coming from. When you're this young, especially at the high school and the middle school and even the college, you're not ready to be a full blast man because you haven't learned the lessons that it take. Mm-hmm. Okay? Be honest. That's your only responsibility as a young man. Be honest. Let these young ladies know exactly where you're coming from when you're dealing with these relationships. And it goes back to what you said on your opening statement. Completely respect their being and their well-being. Yep. And it's not just if she says no, oh, okay, that means no. No, respect every element of that female you are encountering. And when I say respect every element, if you're not ready to really, really be her one and only, shit, tell her that. Yeah. Tell her that. Don't just give her a situation where, you know, she has to be guessing. Because believe it or not, she will actually respect you more in the long run and on the flip side by being honest with her. Honest, yeah. Give her the option to know that, okay, I need to see other people too. Because he values me, and who knows how it will work out. And as young folks, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves and think you got to be in this relationship. No, you're not quite ready for that. You're 16 years old. You're not ready to be Mr. 16-year-old because there's so much you don't know. You know, so be honest, men. Teach your sons to be honest with these young ladies. Look, I'm a boy. I love females. They look great. I don't know if I'm going to turn that number down in the mall. Let her know that. But don't teach your sons to be like you said, man, whatever, go ahead, do what you got to do. Spread it. Get around. No, because the fear of being hurt usually winds up hurting the people you are in contact with and in communication with anyway. Because if you're worried about not getting hurt yourself, you're probably going to hurt someone else because you aren't being completely honest and completely transparent with the things that you're going through. But let's just make sure, man, it's been a double standard, fellas. So we have to make sure that we're focusing on raising our sons to protect the female instead of figure out what they can get out of the female. You know.
Well, I mean, I spent a good portion of my younger days doing that, trying to figure out what I could get out. And you made a good point. Be honest. There was points where I was honest and got more out of the situation. Yeah. And there was points where I've lied because I was like, listen, I can't lose this one. Right. This one is cool. So you know what I'm saying? I just got to lie. But what you learn over time and through mistakes, and bad decisions is, well, next time I need to do better. I need to do something different. And as as men, I know as young men, and especially on the TV, being a womanizer is so glorified, and it is what the guys want to do. Hey, I got this girl, and I need to get in that one's pants, and we need to record her, or hey, you doing this? Let's run a train, and it's this and it's that. From experience, I have, and this is being honest. This is what we do. We're honest on the show. I have 6 kids. Yes, I have been married, but I have 6 kids with 4 different women. And a lot of the situations was from earlier decisions that, had I known then what I know now, I don't make the same decisions, thinking with the wrong part of the anatomy in my body, rather than and making better decisions. And I think that I try to teach that to my kids. Now, I love my kids to death, and I do not wish that they were not here. But right. I do wish that I made better decisions in bringing my children into a better situation. Because understand this, every time you make that decision to be with this woman and that woman and this woman and that woman, and you want to do this over here and you want to do that over there, there's a chance that you could become a father. A high chance.
A very high chance. I mean,
there's a high chance with all that activity, something's going to slip past the goal.
I grew up with a ton of male figures that were important to me. Charles Vernon, Jerry Dyson. My mom had this long-term boyfriend named Jimmy Bimbo, and I fiend. He was one of the biggest male figures I ever had in my life, and I fiend to talk to Jimmy on a regular basis. You know, my mom passed at a fairly young age, especially in today's time, and you know, I haven't had contact with Jimmy since I moved to South Carolina. And one of the main things he taught me, and as a kid, you laugh it off. You know, I'm a kid in elementary school, and he also would say, my nickname was Stanky. He called me Stanky. Let's go ahead and put it out there.
Oh,
yeah, he called me Stanky. He said, Stanky. He said, Stanky. Think with your head, not your inappropriate word. Okay, he said a very inappropriate word. My mom used to cringe, but oh, don't talk to him. Don't say that. But I understood exactly what he said. And one of the purposes of life is to make the generations behind you
better,
quality of life better. Okay, so my sons, as far as my livelihood, is the next generation of Staley men in my household. I have to teach them to be better men than me. But when you're teaching, you can't teach from a prideful perspective. Pride could not be infused at all in your lessons, because pride is a blindfold to the truth. Mm-hmm. And you have to sincerely teach your young men to be better men than you. I'm still learning, and it's crazy because your wife teaches you how to love. My wife taught me how to love in a much more affectionate and intimate manner. Does that mean I've been a perfect husband for her? No. But does she know everything? By far, yes, because I'm a strong believer in being completely honest, and they need to know exactly what's going on and where you're coming from. But in order to improve the next generation, instead of saying, oh, these kids are crazy, no, the kids aren't crazy. The adults have changed.
The adults have
not
changed.
The kids.
Yeah.
And we need to do a better job, fathers, of just sitting down, talking, and spending that quality time, because fatherhood is something I'm very sensitive about. And I knew when I had kids, I wanted them waking up with me every single morning. And that's something that I take extremely serious. But in the same breath, if for this thing to decrease all of this domestic abuse, sexual abuse, as far as harming our women, our men are going to have to get better. And it starts with us. It starts with the fathers, with the role models, with the uncles, with the older cousins, with the older brothers. It doesn't, and like you said, Coach, it's such a pull on TV to be a womanizer.
Yeah.
He a pimp, boy. He got all the girls, and it does sound cool.
You heard about me,
right? And coolness creates comfort. When you're cool, that means you're laid back. You're trying to find comfort. Well, I'm here to tell you, get uncomfortable and do a much better job of valuing our women. And we have to be much better role models. You're not going to be perfect. It's extremely hard to be perfect. But we got to stop using the inability of perfection as an excuse on being better role models.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to say, oh, I'm not perfect, I make mistakes. You're right, we make mistakes. Women make mistakes. But that's not an excuse not to teach someone to do better.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse to teach someone to do better. And we have to, I mean, we gotta step up, man, because I guess we got to this point to talk about this on this show because we were tired of cutting on ESPN and seeing this over again. Now it's like you said, it's in the mainstream media because it's not just athletes, it's other entertainment moguls that have a major impact
Business
on the way
people.
society thinks.
I mean, one of the major things is, okay, we say teach, okay. Well, you can't teach. And what does it say? What's the saying? Do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
Do as I say, not as I do. My daughter is 13. And outside of her mom, she's only known 2 people as far as being with me. My ex-wife and Lynn. Outside of those 2, never. Now, mind you, she's 13. Because my thing is, I think that you have to act in a particular way. Because if you're trying to teach, like I try to teach my daughters, and my boys aren't old enough, although I have done, like Chris lived with me for a lot of years, and I'm proud of the man he's become. And I even taught him, hey, you can't be running these streets with this and that and being extremely disrespectful and not valuing. See, we all say women are beautiful. We love to look at them. They are. I always say God never put a more beautiful creature on the planet than a woman. So why do we treat them like they're less than something that belongs in a zoo? Some of us,
because we haven't been taught to value. Like no one. I've never had a conversation with a man. I've never, and I'm a grown man to this point, I've never had a conversation with a father figure or an older man about the importance of valuing women. Mm-hmm. I learned that by trial and error.
Yeah.
You understand? That's not good. That's not healthy. That's not good. And if I never had that conversation, and I've been around tons of great men, if I've never had that conversation, can you imagine how many of these other little young fellas now that never had that conversation?
Because it's not, you said it before, it's not manly to have that conversation.
It's not.
It's not considered manly to have that conversation.
We got to do a better job.
Until somebody's getting locked up, somebody's getting kicked out of school, somebody's having kids, somebody ends up dead. Until that point, then everybody goes, shoulda, coulda, woulda, maybe I shoulda, maybe we coulda, maybe we woulda. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this person might have would have been in a different situation. Why is it that men, and I'm talking to us because now this extends past this a little bit, and it's not to get off topic, but even with our health, we are reactionary creatures. We are creatures who deal in reaction rather than being proactive. We, instead of talking to our sons about being the man that you want them to being a man that you would feel proud of, him bringing a woman. Because if I'm telling you, you'd be amazed at the people that they'll bring home if you don't teach them right about how to value the right woman, because the right woman won't come home with them. And now you got a whole list of other situations, but it's extremely passionate to me because I'm on both sides of this coin. I got daughters and I got sons. Right. And I just feel like I need to raise my boys to be the men that I want my daughters to be with. And I need to raise my daughters to be women, respectful women that command and demand respect from the men that I want my boys to be. And then I try to be that example for the both of them. And
it takes a selfless mindset like yours, because like I said, the word, that negative, like a lot of people use the word pride, like especially in sports. They be like, Bulldog pride or Falcon pride. I don't believe pride is a very, very powerful word when it comes to growth. Because if I'm a boxer and I'm very prideful, and that dude's punching me in the face every round, and my corner is saying, "Yo, put your hands up, protect yourself, whatever, man. The punches don't hurt," because my pride is saying he can't knock me out. By the 6th round, you're knocked out.
By the 6th round,
but
good night.
it takes selfless efforts to teach young men to be better men. Because if you were a piece of crap growing up, you have to swallow your pride and teach that young man to be better than you, not want him to fall in the same boat as you. That doesn't benefit anyone.
Because now the cycle is just continuing.
And the cycle continues. And like I said, I've never had that conversation. So I right now, I even tell my sons, I try to be a good father in front of them. I try to be a good husband. And I tell them, yo, value your queen. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be perfect, but you can work towards perfection. And when you do those things, you usually end up, that doesn't mean you're not going to have setbacks. That doesn't mean you aren't going to make mistakes. But when you're doing it with that mindset of, what if it was someone else? How would I want somebody to do me like that?
Yeah.
It usually works out for the better. But as men, we haven't been doing a good job over the years of raising other better men. Like right now, I coach young men. And one of my players, Brandon Pugh, man, I coached him when I first started coaching years ago. I don't tell my age, but this was years ago. Brandon's married with children now. Lord have mercy. When I was coaching young, and I still miss coaching young ladies. I miss it. I love my girls. I stay in contact with them, my young ladies on as regular basis as I can. And Brandon said, "Yo, coach, what you're doing with the girls are great." But he said, "We need you back on that young men's side to affect and impact their lives." And at the time I was still coaching girls, like, man, B, you crazy. We call them B. B, you crazy. Get out of here. So I got back on the young men's side and I understood exactly what B was talking about. Because I try to be a good father in front of them, in front of the young men I coach. I try to be a good husband. And they see that and they see the benefits of it. And one of the things I teach them, and I talk about it often, be honest while you're young, because you're probably going to be a dog. You're probably going to be a piece of trash while you're young. It's just nature. You got to grow from it.
Yeah.
But the way you can help yourself
is be honest.
Is be honest with these young ladies. That's the only advice I give them right now. Be honest and pretend it's your sister or your mother. You wouldn't want somebody to mess over them. Yeah. So be honest. But one of the things, like when Brandon was getting on me, he was telling me, yo, coach young men, I started to see that how important it was to be a role model for them. And some of these young men come from great households, and I'm sure their dads are doing a great job.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's one more positive element in front of these young men, showing them to value the young lady that you come in contact with.
That it's not just dad with mom. It's, oh man, it's a lot of people out here that are doing right and being respectful and being positive men. And not only that, I mean, Josh, I don't know about you, but I consider myself young, because there are a lot of old fogies out there. And, for us to be young men and to carry ourselves the way that we do, I think that has a more positive effect on the young men that we lead, because like, your sons are in your practice. Shoot, my sons are in mine. My daughter comes to mind. When she's with me, she's with me a lot. But she comes, and so they see that positivity, and I do the same thing you said too. Now, not to backtrack to what you said, but you said you bring up the point. Well, what if it was your sister? Like, how about treat her the way you would want somebody to treat your sister? Like, how would you act if you heard a conversation in the bathroom, the same conversation you're having
about your mama? Forget the sister.
What if I started talking about
your
mama?
You'd be ready to fight.
Yeah, you'd be ready to go.
You wouldn't even ask. You wouldn't come around the corner saying, "Yo, what y'all talking about?" It would be straight blows. Straight blows. Yeah. The only thing you would be concerned about is which one of y'all said that.
Yeah, who said that?
Who said it? It would be straight blows. It wouldn't be why you said that or how could you feel that way. It would be straight blows. But here's one of the biggest lessons we could teach the young men we're coming in contact with. We said value young women. Be honest with them. Treat them like you would want somebody to treat one of your loved ones. But now this is hard. This is hard for men because we're physical beings. This is hard. We have to learn to be emotional. We have to learn to be intimate. Some dudes are going to be proudful and be like, whatever, not me. I was all of those things. Whatever, that's fine. That's fine. You were a better man than me at a younger age.
Definitely.
But here's one of the biggest things that we can learn from. I mean, one of the biggest lessons you can teach your sons. When dealing with women and dealing with relationships, you get way more from less. When you share something with one person, you get way more from less instead of trying to share that same thing with 5, 6, 7, 8 people.
Because everybody doesn't get the same thing.
I know some folks, some dudes at the house gonna be like, "Oh man, coach, you are a player, hater." That's fine.
I'll be that.
That's fine. Because I want my sons to be way better than me. I've learned from my wife that you get way more from less. And what do you mean by that, coach? I'm with one person. We share the same emotions. We share the same children. We share the same families now. Hell, we even share the same bank accounts. I can't get all of that from 8 different people. So you get so much more from less. And I have someone in my corner, whether I'm winning or not. My wife wasn't at the game. We in a dog fight with one of the top programs in the country.
So she didn't come support you today?
No, it was Tal's birthday. So we had this.
Because I was about to get on.
It was Tal's birthday, and she had a ton of kids she was dealing with at Dave & Buster's. Shout out to Dave & Buster's for destroying my pockets today.
Oh, God.
Shout out to y'all. Good Lord, I didn't know little boys could play video games that hard. Like, we need arcades back in the neighborhood. But she wasn't there. But she was texting with someone back and forth as the game was going on, because you get way more from less in relationships. But we have to teach our kids, because at a young age, he's not going to understand that. He's not going to understand what you're saying. It's like planting a seed. He's not going to see the benefits of that seed as soon as you plant it. And even when it starts growing, he's not going to understand why it's growing. But before you know it, when that flower blossoms and blooms, he's going to see that's what Dad was talking about. You notice I didn't say mom. We talking about y'all, fellas.
Yeah.
He's going to say that's what Dad was talking about, from getting more from less. And when we start to teach these things in an impactful manner, getting them to really focus on it, instead of saying, "Oh man, get everything you can because you never know." Please don't teach your youngest with that mindset. Please, because it doesn't benefit anyone. Because I do believe the numbers go down if we value our women and protect our women and have that mindset in all of interactions. I'm not going to say sometimes you just not going to get with someone looking for a happy ending. Heck, she might be looking for a happy ending herself, too. Yeah. But as long as it's mutual, long as it's respectful, long as it's mature, and you're not a little boy trying to get high fives and all that stuff just to put another notch on your belt, okay. That's fine. But these things happen, that mindset develops early when you're taught by the men in your life. And that's what we have to do a much better job of.
But that's hard to do, Josh. I mean, I think see, here's the funny thing about our particular show. And it's growing. It's growing. We're up to about 800. We're between $800 and $900. I think it's about $857 right now.
Right.
And growing. So keep on listening, please. Let's grow what we've built. But the guys that are listening to this are the guys most likely that agree with what we're saying. So all we can do, fellas, and I know you're saying the same thing, and for those of us that tuned in and we stepped on your toes and you cut us off and you didn't make it to this part of the show, I hope somebody plays it for you. You have got to impact young men that you come in contact with in a positive manner when it comes to dealing with women. Period. Point blank, period. I don't care what you think, if you disagree or agree with us, because it goes back to when you have a daughter, it changes your mindset. When you forget that. I'm sorry, bad statement. When you have a child, period, it changes your mindset. It changes everything that you believe, everything that you think, every action that you make, everything that you do changes with that. For the majority of us that are worth like my grandma used to say, if you're worth a cuss, it changes you. It changes what you are. So please, I'm begging you. If you see a young man, trust me, they'll listen. Because my kids listen to me. They say I'm annoying, man. Coach, yeah, you go ahead with that again. Quran good for that, man. Coach, don't nobody want to hear that now. But you know, I know that he's listening. I know that it's sinking in. It may not be today, but if I say it enough, it'll sink in. Continue to do that, because remember, like Josh said earlier, it's not the kids that are crazy. The adults have changed. The adults have gotten afraid of the kids. I'm not going to say anything because that's not my child, or I'm not going to say anything because he ain't going to listen.
We've got away from the village concept.
It takes a village.
We were raised by villages, and we have to get back to that. And a lot of it is because we've become a society based on individualism, and it's all about me, from social media to all that stuff. But we have to make sure that when it comes to raising these young men, we're helping them learn how to be relationship builders. Because you might say, well, what does it have to do with sports? Let me break it down for you. Every coach in America that coaches a team sport wants every individual that plays within their team to be a good teammate. Mm-hmm. You want them to communicate well. You want them to practice and play with a high level of integrity. And you want them to sincerely care about the team or the program they are a part of.
And the last one, you want them to sacrifice.
You want them
for
to, you want to sacrifice for the team.
Yeah, for the good of the team, you want them to sacrifice.
That's being in a relationship. You promote that. You teach that. You're being a role model for the young men that you are in contact with. Mm-hmm. They can apply that to their relationship, because when you understand where your teammate is coming from, you respect where your teammate is coming from, you accept where your teammate is coming from, but you start to care about where your teammate is coming from, and before you know it, you magically fall in love with the process of your teammate doing well. Mm-hmm. And you see it all the time. You see young guys, I love these dudes. I love them boys. Those are my dogs. I love those guys. That applies to the same relationship. But as men, we fell off in teaching the young great ones that we come in contact with to value the feminine entity that they deal with, which are our queens,
that we believe is so beautiful. We believe it.
We want so much of it because y'all are beautiful. That's my weakness. Like women, y'all look good from every aspect. And I'm not like, I'm a dude, like growing up, like I found out if you like me, it was almost like, sure, I like you too. I didn't care if you were skinny, fat, medium. You know what I'm saying? That's how beautiful.
What's the song? I ain't got no type.
Right. That's how beautiful the element of woman is to me.
Yeah.
So shout out to God for giving us that precious jewel. But that doesn't mean I have the right to be a womanizer and get with whoever I want to. That means I have to learn that I get more from less. And I really promote the well-being of just not the woman that I'm with, but all women. Mm-hmm. But all women. Because there's a ton of y'all dudes out there, a ton of y'all fellas, a ton of my brothers with daughters. You don't want your daughter to have to deal with that. And in order to decrease the percentage of your daughter dealing with a scumbag is by increasing the percentage of the young men that you come in contact with and teaching them the right way.
Yeah.
So we're not going to, I want this epidemic to end. I'm a dreamer, but yeah, I want it to end, but let's just start with improving it.
Yeah.
Let's start with improving it. And like I said, the only thing we got for the women today, and that could be a whole nother show, and I want to bring some women on the show to talk about that. The only focus, this is a bias show. This is strictly about getting better with men. Focus on teaching young women to value themselves. It's just like having a new pair of shoes. You value those shoes, so you don't want to want to step on them as soon as you get it. So women, don't let anyone step on you, okay? And of course, you're not the same thing as a shoe, but don't let anyone step on you. Don't let anyone devalue you. And we'll work on getting these young men to value the beauty that they come in contact with you, because that's our job as older men, as fathers, as role models to do. Mm-hmm. I'm a player hater. Say it. You hating. I'm a pimp, coach. I ain't got time for that. Well, that mindset, usually you're going to find yourself by yourself.
At the end of the day, you're gonna. It ain't cool to be a 50-year-old pimp now.
Nah, because
that ain't cool.
No one wants to be with a 50-year-old player. Then you find yourself 45 years old, and you're trying to trick a 20-year-old that doesn't know any better to be with you. You understand?
And they end up outgrowing you anyway.
Right. So we gonna bring the show to an end. But this was a very personal show for me and Coach E. Coach Kurtz really wanted to be here, but he's Bruce Wayne. He's always busy. He's Batman. But we have to make sure.
Oh wait, hold on. In his absence, I think you spoke very eloquently, Josh.
Yeah. You yourself very eloquently. Phenomenal. But I really want, man. We want to fix what we see, but it starts with lessons. It's not going to be like a after school special or a TV show or anything that's going to come on or an app that's going to teach these young men. It starts with hardcore lessons.
They don't even have after
at
school
the
specials.
House. No, they don't come on anymore. That's kind of effed up within itself.
I mean,
we need some good old after school special.
Or some G.I.
Little
Joe.
Timmy don't steal. Yeah. Billy, if you find it and you know it's not yours, give it back.
And knowing is half the battle.
Right, knowing is half the battle. But we want our young men to be better than us, and that's okay. We want generations to improve as time goes forth, not get into this mindset of a stunted and antiquated mindset of I got mine, you got to get yours. Teach these young men to be better than you. I'm gonna raise my hands. I'm gonna teach my sons to be better husbands, better fathers, better role models than me, and I don't need them making the same mistakes that I made. You understand? If I see somebody get hit by a bus, I don't have to run out in the street to get hit also to know that the buses are moving, fam. So let's teach. I'm done. I'm off my soapbox, but I'll probably be right back on it next week at the show. Yeah. And we appreciate you coming live to you from the Juke. And we're going to keep going from there. I'm going to let Coach E give his statements. We're going to do our shout-outs. We're going to get up out this camp.
Yes, shout-outs. Got a couple of them today. Coach Ashley Gilmore, the head girls coach down there at Denmark Ola High School, passed her teaching exam today. She is fully certified, finished her student teaching.
Congrats. That's my little cousin,
Cuzzo.
Congrats, little cousin.
Congrats to Cuzzo.
She got
matter of fact, she got a game tonight. I'm probably texting a little bit, see how they did. But congrats to her. It's been a long road, and she's grinded it out. And now she is fully certified, and hopefully she'll get her career really, really, really on the uptake. She's a great young lady, great coach. I think she has a very bright future. Shouts out to the listeners, man. The listeners have given us a lot of good feedback. We listen. Y'all have been joining the conversation on Twitter. You've been sharing it. As the head tech guy, and I guess producer here, I have to apologize for the midweek motivation this week. Apparently it came through as only a music file that was not supposed to be. We've actually recorded it. We will repost that one on Monday. We're gonna so it'll be reposted on Monday because it never actually caught up. So we have to take it down and repost it. So that'll be reposted on Monday, and then we'll bring you a fresh midweek motivation on Wednesday. So shouts out to y'all for sticking with us. 800 downloads later, we're still here. This is the episode 18. It's been a pretty interesting road, and we appreciate y'all for listening continuously every week. And let me say this before Josh gets to his shout outs. It is, especially now, I'm gonna tell you how dedicated we are to our listeners. It is tough to run this show every week,
especially with our profession. We're doing this strictly for y'all, man. We trying to get a good product out there. I had 58 excuses to cancel tonight, man.
And don't think the phone call didn't happen. So, you got practice tomorrow? Yeah. Well,
let's do it tomorrow, but I can't because I got practice.
I can't, man. I got practice.
Just got in a battle with Word of God. I'm ready to go home and tuck my tail. Shout out to my fellas, though. Y'all really grinded tonight. Showed a lot of grit. We were in it with a nationally acclaimed and recognized program. One of John Wall, some of the better players in America have came through that program. and we were in a tied ball game with less than 2 minutes to go. We were in a tied ball game with less than 2 minutes to go with an opportunity to win. So shout out to my young great ones for fighting, and shout out to Coach Clifton, who does a tremendous job out there at Word of God. Much
Shouts
respect,
to him.
much to love,
and to
man.
The kids, man.
Oh man, but close it out. Shout out to everyone.
Everyone.
Love you dudes. Love you women. Appreciate you. We're going to keep grinding. You keep grinding. You'll hear from us on Wednesday with our midweek motivation. God bless the Finney family. Judge Finney passed away this past week. Was one of the Supreme Court judges in the state of South Carolina. A true martyr, a true legend in his time. His grandson Daniel Harper Finney plays for me. He wasn't at the game tonight. We would have won if he was there. Daniel didn't play tonight? Daniel didn't play tonight. Man. They had to wait last night in the funeral today. Yeah, so, again, his teammates really wanted to. They were hurt because they really wanted to win that fight.
Yeah.
Daniel's been hurt all week. He's been struggling. He's been fighting. But he didn't play tonight. Shout out to Daniel and his family.
Out to Daniel,
Papa Finney, Mama Finney, we love y'all. Our prayers are still with you. If you lost a loved one, my dear friend Craig Frierson lost his mom, right around Thanksgiving time. I love you, big bruh. I put the poem out there for y'all, and we do this for y'all, baby. This ain't for us. We doing this for y'all. Love y'all.
Hey, if y'all want to join the conversation, don't forget. If you want to join the conversation, email us at the Staley and English Show. That's the Staley AND English Show at gmail.com. Hit us on Twitter at the SNE Show. We definitely appreciate retweets. Make sure to use the hashtag the Juke. We're going to bring it to you another week. We're going to close this one out.
Shout out to Monica for coming to Columbia and not hollering at your boy.
Man,
you know you're one of my favorite all-time R&B singers, and you don't even
she
let
didn't
me.
Even come through. She didn't even come
over
through.
You.
Here we go. Yeah.
Hey, man, good night, y'all. Love y'all, boy.
Hey, put God first. Everything else will follow.